To the Tuesday, March 3rd, 2015, Village of Peoria Heights Board of Trustees meeting. Meeting is now called to order. Would you please rise and join us in the pledge of the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Present.
Trustee Carter.
Present.
Trustee Fuller.
Present.
Trustee Reichert.
Present.
Trustee Gett.
Present.
Trustee Cumming.
Present.
Thank you very much. First order of business tonight is the approval of the Board of Trustees minutes for the February 17th. Are there any changes that need to be made to the minutes?
I move to approve the February 17th minutes.
Have a motion from Trustee Gett,
Second.
second from Trustee Cumming. All those in favor of approving the Board of Trustees minutes for the February 17th, 2015 meeting as submitted, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it. Board has approved the minutes for the February 17th meeting as submitted. Next order of business tonight is the approval of the executive session minutes for February 17th as well. We need a motion to approve.
I move to approve the executive session minutes for
Yep.
February 16th, 2015.
Have a motion from Trustee Reichert,
Second.
second from Trustee Carter. All those in favor of approving the executive session minutes for February 17th, 2015, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it, and the board has approved the executive session minutes for the February 17th meeting. Next order of business tonight is correspondence, and that will be presented by our village clerk, Shauna Musselman.
I have no correspondence.
Thank you. No announcements tonight either, so we will move to trustee reports, and first up will be Public Works with Trustee Harn.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. The only thing I have is I'd like to compliment the Public Works crew on what a great job they've been doing pretty much the whole winter. And especially this weekend, we had a lot of ice and snow, and they just did great. The roads looked good, and everyone got where they wanted to go. Hopefully, 2 more days of bad weather, and then we can get into spring and be done with the snow and the ice. But that's all I have.
We echo the good job accolades.
Thank you. I'll pass it along.
Huzzah.
Pass it along because we don't want to force them to watch this meeting on TV.
I'm sure they all do anyway.
Glued.
You don't know them very well, do you?
Any questions at all for Trustee Harn? All right, thank you again. We'll move to administration personnel with Trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing, but I would like to thank the Chamber of Commerce for hosting the Meet the Candidates Night tonight.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to economic development, and village improvements with Trustee Carter.
Thank you. I have nothing at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll move to the police department with Trustee Cumming.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I have a few announcements tonight. First one being that the annual Police Benevolent Association chili supper that usually takes place last month had been pushed back to April 17th this year. It's going to be at the Heights Grade School cafeteria. And instead of doing a chili supper this year, they're going to do, we're not sure if it's going to be pulled pork or just pig pickings, but it is going to be some sort of barbecued sandwich. We've heard, and obviously they have bouncy houses in the gym for the kids, face painting, lots of events, raffle. I don't think we have the silent auction. I can't remember if we still have that or not, but it's still with the silent auction. But it's a wonderful event. All of the funds raised by the Police Benevolent Association go to fund local charities, sports teams, so the money does stay within the Heights community. Secondly, and we will, as I get more information on that, I'll be sure to pass it along as we get closer to the event. Also coming up on September 11th, I know that seems like a long way away, and quite a few months of thawing out and getting to September, but it'll be the 7th annual Illinois Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics. This is an event that that our police department co-sponsors with the Peoria Police Department. Once again, that's Friday, September 11th at Quail Meadows Golf Course. It's a 12 p.m. shotgun. Registration starts at noon, 1 p.m. Tea time, shotgun start. If you register by September 1st, you got a chance to win a flat screen television. For more information, you can contact Deputy Chief Ahart with the PHPD 688-3461. And on the Peoria side, you can contact Officer Elizabeth Blair, and she can be reached at 360-4550. And you can also go to Special Olympics Golf Outing.eventbrite.com to find more information there. And last but not least, next Neighborhood Watch meeting will be Monday, the 30th, 6:30, right up here at Village Hall. And as always, please, if you have any code enforcement or police issues in your neighborhood, come up and share those with us so we can look into it and get those rectified. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Cumming.
What time is that police benevolent auction?
You know, I'm not sure. Usually that starts, it runs from like 5 to 7 or 7:30, but I'll get confirmation on that.
Okay, any other questions at all for Trustee Cumming? Thank you again. We'll move to building maintenance with Trustee Gett.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I have nothing to report.
Thank you very much. We'll close out with the fire department. Trustee Fuller.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I have nothing to report this evening.
All right, thank you all. Brings us now to comments from the audience. Anybody in the audience has a care or concern, please come up. Hold on, Steve. We know there's got to be somebody out here with a care or concern. Now, that's hard to believe, but however, Steve Klein is here, who's going to give us a TIF update. So we do have a comment from the audience. Steve, can you come up and let us know what's going on?
I always care. So, I always have something to say. It's good to see you again. I appreciate you giving me a couple of minutes here on your agenda. I once again come bearing gifts. You have already received a qualification report for both of the proposed new tax increment financing districts. And we put those on file on the 20th of February, and then those have been distributed, I assume, to all of you, all the trustees. That was the first step in documenting the number of parcels and the extent to which these areas qualify for tax increment financing. And we're required by statute to have that on file with you 10 days ahead of what I'm going to ask you to do tonight. So what I'm going to give you tonight is the first draft of the TIF redevelopment plans for both TIF 1 and proposed TIF 2. And in the plan document, it will contain all the information that's already in that's in that qualification report you have. So you could really kind of set that aside from this point forward and concentrate more on reviewing the plan. So let me take a minute, if I may, and I'll just pass those out to you.
Stealing from the bottom.
Yes. Please, you want
Thank you.
Steve.
And I'll leave an extra one with Shauna. We need to keep one on file that's available to the public of each one of these.
Then I will leave it with Sarah because I'm not here during the day. and
That's
then she
fine.
can
So
have it.
wherever
That'd be great.
someone would come to want to see it. So let me give you an extra one here.
Thank you.
Thank you. This becomes quite an exercise in reading two of these.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know where to find it. So,
I think every opening is,
just very briefly, the redevelopment plans, they do discuss the qualifications of the area, and the only thing I'd like to say about that tonight is that TIF 1 overall has 117 individual parcels included in the TIF 1 proposed area. And we're at 88, full 88% qualification. Now, you'll remember that the area as a whole needs to qualify, not every property, not every parcel within the area, but the area overall has to be at least 51% qualified, and we're at 88%. And we're actually at 88% on both TIF districts. It just worked out that way. The TIF 2 area has 99, a total of 99 parcels in it. It's slightly smaller. But it too is coming in right at 88% overall qualification, so we're real pleased with that, and was happy to see that. The other thing that you'll want to take a look at in these plans, and they are drafts, they're going to remain drafts right up through, right now we're looking at the 5th of May would be the earliest that we would anticipate presenting ordinances to you to actually establish these two TIF districts. So these documents can remain drafts virtually up to that point. And when I say that they can be changed with regard to scaling back, removing property, making the area smaller. But once we move forward after tonight, it is not simple to add additional area to the boundary without starting all over again. If something comes up that the board would like to add some property at a later time after we get through May here and we've established the TIF district, then provided that the area that you want to add qualifies, it meets the requirements of the TIF district, this could be amended to add something. That's not a difficult task, it's just you got to go through the timeline again. You got to go through the steps again, but that could be done. The other thing that you'll want to look at in the TIF plans, there's a healthy menu of both public, what we call public and private, anticipated public and private TIF eligible projects and related cost estimates. And there's a couple of reasons why the plans that we prepare look this way. One is that we want to make sure that you have a wide menu of opportunities to be able to work with private interests that may want to invest in Peoria Heights somewhere within one of these TIF district areas. And so we have, for example, in TIF 1, we have elements of commercial, light industrial, and a variety of different types of potential residential development, although residential development is not as much of a direct goal of this TIF district as your commercial development. But you have elements of all of those things in this plan that would enable the village to be able to work with someone if an opportunity came to you and you wanted to use TIF to help them. The key is that if somebody brought you a project that didn't fit one of the categories that we've included in the TIF plan, then you wouldn't be able to use TIF to help them. So it has to have been even generically anticipated in your TIF plan that you would use TIF dollars for incentives for these types of purposes. And so that's why there's a wide variety of different kinds of costs that are included. And that's the case with both TIF 1 and TIF 2. You'll note that in both TIF districts, that if there are any contiguous redevelopment areas, that we've inserted the language that's required by statute to allow the village then to utilize TIF funds from one TIF district to another contiguous TIF district. So that would come into play, obviously, here with TIF 1 being immediately adjacent and contiguous with what would be remaining of the Lacey Pabst TIF district, which is also shown on the map that's included in the report or in the plan. Okay, so it's ambitious. You'll see that there are some big numbers, some big dollars in these plans, but we got to have some vision when we're thinking about a 23-year period. And We want this to be a tool that offers you the most flexibility and enables you to maximize your use of tax increment financing. So that's why they're structured that way. Following tonight, tonight what we're going to ask you to do a little later on your agenda then is to approve two ordinances. And the timelines are shown in here on the TIF plans, about page 5 on the TIF 1 plan, and it's also page 5 on the TIF 2 plan, gives you the major dates of events that need to take place that leads us towards that May 5th completion date. And tonight, we're asking you to approve ordinances to designate April 21st as the date for the public hearing that would occur, one for TIF 1 and again another one for TIF 2. They'll be on the same evening, but they're a half hour apart, so essentially it would be at 5:30 and then at 6. But the public hearing would be conducted much like we did for the public meeting that we had on February 17th is when I was here for that. So we'll also be meeting with all of the taxing districts a little later this month to review the plans and the qualifications of the two areas. And there will be a number of notices sent out to taxpayers within these proposed TIF areas, the taxing districts, as well as residential addresses that are within about 750 feet of the perimeter boundaries of both of these. So there will be a number of pieces of mail that will be prepared that our office will send out on behalf of the village. We take care of all of that for you. But in addition to the notices, there'll be two publications in the newspaper announcing the date of the public hearing. So, everyone should have an opportunity to attend that if they like. So I would be available for any questions you might have, and I'll extend to you an invitation to have me come back anytime if you want to devote a little more time to ask any questions about this material or to talk about it in more detail. We'd be happy to do that. Or you can, of course, channel your questions through Matt, and we'll be happy to get back to you.
Any questions at all for Steve?
I have one question. What does obsolete plating mean?
Obsolete plating relates to, at times when we may have a piece of property that is configured in such an odd shape that it would be difficult to develop it. In other cases, it may have poor access, poor public access, or could even be landlocked altogether without any access to a street, a public right-of-way. And so occasionally, when we observe that, then we'll mark that. You raise another good, actually, you remind me to let you know that when you look at the qualification factors, we'll look at a property, and if we see 3 examples of deterioration, or if we note a factor that would lead us to conclude that there's obsolete plating, for example, on a piece of property, we only count it once, okay? So we might see 3 instances of it on the same property, but the act requires us to note whether it exists or not on the property. So, did I answer your question? Okay. Anything else?
All right, thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. No old business tonight, so we will move to new business, and first up will be special use renewal for Chuck's Auto Sales, and that will be presented by Trustee Carter.
Thank you. Looks like Kerry inspected his lot and he's good to go for another 3 months, so I make a motion to renew Chuck's Auto Sales for another 3 months until June 24th.
Have a motion from Trustee Carter,
Second.
second from Trustee Reichert. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of the renewal of the special use permit for Chuck's Auto Sales for another 3 months Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Fuller.
Aye.
Trustee Reichert.
Aye.
Trustee Gett.
Aye.
Trustee Cumming.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved the renewal of Chuck's Auto Sales special use permit for another 3 months as outlined by trustee Carter. Next order of new business tonight is ordinance 2015-1436, and that will be presented by trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance approving the transfer of volume cap in connection with private activity bond issues and related matters. So the short definition and simple definition of this is that we must approve this ordinance every year so that the banks can offer first-time home buyer loans to lenders. If anybody has any questions about the legalities of it or details or anything, they can give Matt a call and he can go through the whole legalities of it all. So I would make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2015-1436.
We have a motion from trustee Reichert,
Second.
second from trustee Cumming. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? All right, once again, this is for board approval of ordinance number 2015-1436 as outlined by trustee Reichert. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Fuller.
Aye.
Trustee Reichert.
Aye.
Trustee Gett.
Aye.
Trustee Cumming.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved ordinance 2015-1436. Next order of new business tonight is ordinance 2015-1437. That will be presented by trustee Carter.
Thank you. Excuse me. I make a motion for ordinance 2015-1437 for the tax increment financing District 1 to be approved for the public hearing on April 21st, but it doesn't really say that in here. So it would not say a date in this?
It's on the back page.
Oh, okay, sorry about that, I missed that. At 5:30, so the tax increment financing District 1, ordinance 2015-1437 for public hearing, April 21st at 5:30 PM here at the Village Hall.
Have a motion from trustee Carter,
Second.
second from trustee Gett. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of ordinance 2015-1437, establishing the public hearing date for the proposed TIF District 1 as outlined by trustee Carter. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Fuller.
Aye.
Trustee Reichert.
Aye.
Trustee Gett.
Aye.
Trustee Cumming.
Aye.
Thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved ordinance 2015-1437. Next order of new business tonight is ordinance 2015-1438, and that will be presented by trustee Carter.
Thank you. I'd also like to make a motion to approve ordinance 2015-1438 for the public hearing for April 21st at 6 PM, and this would be for the tax increment financing District 2.
Have a motion from trustee Carter,
Second.
second from trustee Gett. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of the public hearing date for the proposed Peoria Heights TIF District 2 on April 21st, 2015 at 6 o'clock PM as outlined by trustee Carter. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Fuller.
Aye.
Trustee Reichert.
Aye.
Trustee Gett.
Aye.
Trustee Cumming.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved ordinance 2015-1438. Next order of new business tonight, event approval for the Run to Remember, which will be presented by trustee Carter.
Thank you. I make a motion to let Run to Remember use, they're not really using the Tower Park, so to actually run through the Heights, because it starts at Junction City, I do believe, and we will kind of watch the crosswalks for them again, like we did in the past, and it's on for May 2nd, and they'll start at 8 AM. And Matt, you'll just get more information from them to let the chief know and the street department know if they need to be needed?
Yeah, after it's passed, they're contacted,
Okay.
and there's a list of items, contact information that they receive.
Okay. So I make a motion to approve it.
Have a motion from trustee Carter,
Second.
second from trustee Reichert. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of the Run to Remember on Saturday, May 2nd, 2015, as outlined by trustee Carter. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you, the ayes have it. Board has approved the Run to Remember on Saturday, May 2nd, 2015, to run through Peoria Heights. Next order of new business tonight is a motion to approve the proposed employment agreement with Chief of Police Dustin Sutton, and that will be presented by trustee Cumming.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. At this time, I would like to make a motion that we approve a new employment contract with Chief Dustin Sutton for the police department, which includes paying Chief a salary of $97,671.55. And this avoids having to put the franchise tag on Chief Sutton and locks him up until May 1st of 2018. And the rest of the stuff in the agreement, if you guys want to go over it, it's a standard boilerplate payroll or salary agreement that we have in place with all the village employees and the police department.
And I think it's pretty much what was in place on the first employment contract back from 2005. Is that right, Chief?
Yeah, correct. 2005, this is the exact contract. The only thing that's been removed was, at that time, I had put in the contract that I was allowed to go to the FBI Academy, which I've already attended in 2007, and also the incentive for further education towards a master's degree. That's been removed also because that was kind of covered during the FBI Academy. I've got course credits for that. So the rest of it's the same except for the economic end of it, which is the salary that trustee Cumming just mentioned, with then a 2-year wage freeze after that. So the rest of the contract is identical as it was in 2005. And anyway, go ahead.
Make a motion?
Already made?
Yeah, okay.
Second.
Second from trustee Gett. Are there any questions or comments from the board before the board votes?
I would just like to say that Dust does a great job, and he hasn't had a raise in a long time, so this is deserved, and we're really happy to have you as our police chief. You do just a great job. Everyone just totally agrees with it, so.
I appreciate it. I'll save my next comment until after the vote.
I do have one. I thought we agreed to lift up on the wage freeze and not, that he would still get the 3%.
We were discussing it at that time, but I think we decided to go ahead and just put in there, we can change it in the
Okay.
next year or so for each